Hello, everyone. Phoenix Tremayne here with some General Hospital uh, news. We've been talking about it in the membership for a while, really every week. We talk about who we think is the hook. So now I'm going to bring that conversation to all of the soap fam, and I'm doing this video to break down the suspects and who is most likely the hook. The first suspect is an early suspect, which was Elizabeth Weber. Now, Elizabeth Weber is a character who had been going through possibly a multiple personality disorder situation. She was at the attack with Ava, and she didn't do it. She didn't do it. They seem to have forgotten she had a multiple personality disorder, cutting up dresses and, knocking people out and seeing her father and all the kind of things she was going through. And he sort of just simplified it and tied the story in with Finn. But Elizabeth, once upon a time, was a suspect, but they've moved on from that. Next, we have Nell. A lot of people, because they knew Nell was coming back to the show, briefly, that maybe it was Nell that did it. Um, but I was one of the first people to say, it's not Nell. It can't be Nell. It won't be Nell. Because Chloe Lanier, I want to be on the show. She made a quick guest appearance, got a quick check, and rolled back out. So I'd rather them honestly just recast Nell. Um, Chloe isn't the only actress that can do that role. Even though I love her as Nell, we need to move on, just like we need to move her right off the suspect list. Selena Wu was a big suspect person that a lot of people were saying, well, maybe Selena did it because it all with Ava and Brando as victims, that maybe she was trying to shake Sonny up and take over his empire and just have him sort of off guard. But now that we know that the person is really after Trina and people involved in Trina's case, now we have to move on to it's not about Sonny. But that's how they made us want to believe what they wanted us to believe in the very beginning, that the suspects were all tied to Sonny, but that proved to not be true. And so we're going to move on to the next person who a lot of people thought was going to be the hook, and that is Heather Weber. Now, for a very long time, especially if you're a member and you can go back and watch the lives, I said continuously, can't be Heather Weber. She ain't even on the show anymore. Nobody's talked about Heather in a while. You know, now that we know it's a woman, at one point, I had men on the suspect list, and of course Ryan was on there, but they definitely took Ryan out, and then Diane said it was a woman, and people were like, "It's Heather," and I was arguing with people like, "Look, it's not Heather. She's not even on the show." So what did they do? They put Heather on the show, but she is not a suspect as the hook, except for people who know Heather's crazy. Heather's escaped before and done things. So yeah, there's a lot of people that are going to feel that Heather Weber did it, but I'm going to tell you right now, she didn't. Um, if she was out there hooking people, it would have been people associated with Franco and his demise. Like she probably would have went after Elizabeth or something. Like you saw her when she was in the bed, she had such disdain for Elizabeth, maybe even went after Finn because he's with Elizabeth. But Heather Weber does not have any reason to want to hurt Trina or anyone that Trina loves. So now we're going to get to the person who I thought it was for months. And the members kept telling me, no, it's not her. It's not going to be her. It's definitely not going to be her. And I kept defiantly saying, yes, it is. It's going to be Sasha. Sasha is the one who did it because before Brando died, he talked about the clanking bracelets. And it sounded like his wife's bracelets. So I'm like, well, bracelets don't all sound the same. Depends on how many you have on, what they're made out of. And I'm like, maybe Sasha did it. And I started coming up with reasons why she may want to hurt Ava. She may want to hurt Diane. And I was relating it to her conservatorship. But I this week told the members in the live that I no longer think Sasha did it, and they all applauded. So where are we? General Hospital. Monday, November the 7th, Esme gets created. Now, let's go back to this. All right. I give up on my theory about Sasha being the culprit.
Thank you.
You win.
Okay.
You win. You
Yes.
win. So we're going to move on from Sasha and move on up the ladder to Esme. There are a lot of people who keep saying Esme did it. And I keep saying they're doing the same thing they did with Dex. They're trying way too hard to make you believe it's Esme, just like they tried really hard to make you think it was Dex. But it is not Esme because she didn't have time to do it. She may have been on the docks when, that sleazy guy got killed, but she went straight to Windermere and then was locked up by Nicholas. So when did she have time to find an old typewriter? Because the killer, the victim list that the killer had, he was already dead. So she was already locked up. So she couldn't have written that letter, even though they said it was like 2 weeks behind. No, she was on the docks. I think his name was Oz. She saw that Oz was gone. But Esme, if you just step back from just watching what they're showing you and just taking everything for, it's real and this is what it is, and you just step back from the plot, you understand that Esme has much more story to tell. Whoever the hook is either getting locked up or killed. So she has much more story in her. So she has possibly Felicia being her mother. Nobody still knows that Ryan is her father. Ava's about to find out that she's pregnant. This is going to affect a lot of people, including Victor. So, and Spencer. So there's so much more storylines for her to tell. And for many more sweeps periods to come. So let's just take Esme off the list. And she's pregnant. So she's not the pregnant hook. So just let that go. If you thought Esme did it just because she had a black coat on like the hook, if you really look at those hook scenes, the coat is much bigger than the one Esme had on, the sleeves and everything. And I know that sometimes these writers don't know who actually did it. They just writing and figuring it out as they go. Many stories where there was this murder mystery. Writers have come back in interviews and said, well, we didn't know who did it. And I'm only talking about soap murder mysteries. And they'll come out and say, well, we didn't know who did it till, it was time to reveal who did it. And they'll go back and forth, which we saw with Elizabeth, with them seemingly not really knowing what to do with the storyline because it's been all over the place. So if Esme didn't do it, who did it? So we're now at the top of the list where this rumor has been circulating since probably about August that the hook is actually ADA Arden and possibly Roy working together. Now, I really think it's the two of them. That is not one person, it's two. So when it comes to Roy, he's been taken off contract. He's been put on reoccurring. He has this scandal where it was where he said some things on Twitter that could potentially be prejudiced. I did not see these comments myself. I just saw the commotion. I tried to find the comments. Nobody said exactly what he said, but it turned a lot of Trina fans against him because they were supposedly racial comments. After and which is why I feel like they took him off contract, put him on reoccurring, and he'll probably either be one of the so like Scream where there's two hooks, people that did it. He's either going to be one of the people involved in these crimes or he's going to be a victim. Either way, Rory is not much longer for this General Hospital world. As you've seen, they have taken Trina being very interested in him, and then they've distanced him and Trina. He can go a week or two without even having the scene. So that shows their disinterest in him, which makes him a throwaway character. ADA Arden is a character that's another throwaway character. If they go to jail or get bumped off, then nobody's gonna be crying and upset and writing letters. It doesn't upset the cast makeup. But I think when they brought her back to show, her putting Anna away, they know a lot of fans are not gonna like her. She's not listening to reason when all these people are telling her, look, we need to look deeper into this because of Victor. Now, with Jordan's latest, reveal that the hook is after people associated in Trina's case. Now, the hook not necessarily has never gone after Trina. So that's why I said Rory could be involved because he loves Trina. But since she didn't give him none when they were on that convention, it just further showed that, now he may have a disdain for her. Now she not be safe around him. So ADA Arden, the reason for her doing it could be very simple. She doesn't like losing cases. She really believed Trina did it. Maybe she feels they threw, her case away, messed up her record. Maybe she has some other reason for not liking Trina, or maybe she's something to do with her not liking Portia. I don't know. Well, we should all be finding out soon. I read that the hook will strike again in like a week and a half from the time of this recording. And I think that victim most likely will be Rory or Cameron.